Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Keto Girl, and today's guest is Dr. Harlan Kilstein. After having massive success on the ketogenic diet, Harlan founded the Completely Keto website and Facebook group. Now he has over 1 million followers on Facebook and has authored 4 different books on the ketogenic lifestyle with cookbooks and everything. So let's go and say hello to Harlan. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Keto Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhide, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Give a woman a fish, feed her for a day. Teach a woman to fish, feed her for a lifetime. Teach a woman to fish, end world hunger. Have you ever wanted to help people improve their health journey? Have you thought about coaching people with a keto lifestyle? Would you like to become an integrative health coach? Well, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or IIN as we call it, is the largest nutrition school in the country. And in 2011, I graduated from their program and became a health coach. It was completely awesome. We learned over 100 different dietary theories and talk about craziness and confusion. My wish for you is that we can lock arms and create a tribe of health coaches all around the country, all around the world to spread the keto message. If this resonates with you and you would like to look into this option deeper, please go to my blog at highenergygirl.com and click on the link to the right of the homepage. Here you can grab the curriculum guide and see if it inspires you. Since I care so much about my listeners, I negotiated the very best tuition rate for you at IIN. Either you can contact them directly and give them my name, or I will introduce you to a counselor so you can decide if this is a good fit for you and your career goals. Let me know how I can support you in this coaching career opportunity. Hey Harlan, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
I am absolutely delighted to be here.
Oh, cool. So for the listeners that don't know you, why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my background was in education, and I was a principal in of different level schools, from elementary all the way through high school. And I loved what I did. I loved helping the kids, but I didn't like the politics involved in schools. And I decided to leave education. And the next thing, it's kind of strange, but the next thing that I did was I opened up a weight loss clinic. And the weight loss clinic was very, very successful, but it was taken over by someone who ran franchises. Matter of fact, his previous franchise was a major accounting franchise. And he believed in the franchise philosophy, which is like you walk into one McDonald's, it's the same as another McDonald's. Like a McDonald's can't decide, you know what, we're going to start offering rib steaks. They don't get to do that in a franchise. And he came in with the franchise philosophy, and he said, you have to treat every person exactly the same. I said, but that's absurd. Everyone's unique. There aren't 2 people in the world with the same set of fingerprints. How can you treat everyone unique and the same and expect that they're going to get results?
Yeah, totally.
And this person may have an eating problem because she was abused growing up. This person may be in a bad marriage. This person may have someone in their home with cancer. This person may have sugar or chocolate cravings. This person may have hormones that are not balanced. You can't just do what they called in Greek mythology the Procrustean bed, where you put the person on the bed, and if they were too long, you cut off their legs, and if they were too short, you stretch them. I had this difference in philosophy of treating people uniquely, and I said, this isn't for me. And I shut down my offices, said goodbye to my clients, and I said, I can't treat everybody as if they're not a unique person. And I went away from the weight loss clinic, and I went into a lot of different things. And somehow along the way, I had become a yoga fanatic. And unfortunately, I hurt myself badly in yoga, and the weight started piling on. When you're not doing yoga 2 times a day, the weight doesn't stay away. And it came on, and the pounds came, and they brought a bunch of their friends. and all of a sudden, there I was, over 50. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I had developed what is known as metabolic syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going into a doctor's office who diagnosed me, and he said, "You have syndrome X." And I was going like, "Oh my God, I'm thinking, is it fatal? I have syndrome X." And he said, "It's metabolic syndrome." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Well, you can Google it, but basically," this was his summary, "it's impossible for you to lose weight." I said, "That doesn't sound very good." He said, "But it's true." And so it became my challenge. When someone gives me a challenge and tells me that there's something that I can't do, that is like the best for me, because I'm the kind of person who is not going to take that. And so I had a challenge, and I bounced from diet to diet, and none of them worked. I kept gaining weight, and I went to doctor after doctor, and they would literally have the same language. If you do X, the weight is just going to fall off you. And I would do X, and the weight didn't fall off me. And they would go back and say, "You must not be doing X." I would say, "No, I'm doing X perfectly." "No, you must be cheating." "No, I'm not cheating." And I remember low carb, and I was devoted to low carb. And they said, cut out bread, cut out sugar. Okay, it was hard. But low carb, okay, I can do low carb. And my weight just ballooned on low carb. And then I heard about keto. And I found, much to my sadness and surprise, is that my doctors didn't know anything about keto. One doctor said, "Well, I don't know how I feel about this because of ketoacidosis." I later found out that ketoacidosis was something that only affected type 1 diabetics. And to this day, I can't believe that a knowledgeable physician didn't know that. But I found a cardiologist who was sympathetic. And the last straw with him before he gave in to keto was he asked me to speak to his nutritionist. And her idea of life was eating shakes and no-fat peanut butter powder.
Ew.
Yeah, and she goes, "It's delicious." And she mixed some up in the office, and she goes, "You can have this. It has no fat in it, and it tasted like peanut powder," And I was like, "Okay, that's it. I'm doing keto." And I started keto, and at the same time that I started keto, because I told you about my background in education, I started a Facebook group to help people and myself with keto. And that was about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And now I have 4 or 5 different Facebook groups, something like 1.75 million followers on Facebook. I came up with a keto plan that combines keto and intermittent fasting that not only worked for me, but has worked for about 70,000 other people. And I have more energy, and I'm finally getting my body back into the shape that it was when I did yoga, but without doing the yoga and hurting my body again.
So, can I ask you a bunch of questions based on everything you've just said?
Yeah, well, you said let's wing it, and since I have the gift of gab, I just gabbed.
No, it's all good, but now I have lots and lots of questions. First of all, I teach yoga. What pose, or how'd you hurt yourself?
Okay, so I was a serious follower of you name the form of yoga, and I did it from Ashtanga to I had a very, very close relationship with Shiva Ray, who was my primary teacher, and I would go. And Shiva said to me, she always used to say, because I was older than most of the people doing yoga, and they had like mostly younger women who wanted to be yoga teachers in the class, and they, could pop into a pose like, okay, we are now going to do stand on our nose vinyasa. And they would all effortlessly do it, and I would just like, okay, whatever. And Shiva tried to get into me that look at your own mat, Harlan, focus on what you're doing and don't pay attention to what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. And the temptation got too great, and I found a local yoga teacher who wanted to teach me the best ego pose of handstand. Handstand in the middle of the room, unassisted handstand.
Oh, gosh.
And Shiva later said, Harlan, your shoulder at this age isn't really strong enough for handstand. Your shoulder can't really support you. And so here's this guy who is a perfect shape. He's teaching me handstand, and I get up into handstand. He goes, okay, now we're going to do, ready? Unassisted one-hand handstand.
What?
Yes, ma'am. And that was it. I collapsed, hurt my shoulder, and the rest was history. And I went back to see Shiva, unable to do much stuff, and she just looked at me and shook her head, and she goes, oh, Harlan, I told you that wasn't for you. And it kind of killed my yoga. Mm-hmm. So that's how I injured myself in yoga.
Oh, that sucks.
It's called ego.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what that looks like. So then that set you back. And then what year I'm kind of surprised that, so what year was it when you finally discovered keto? So I'm wondering why you didn't know about it before, or if you just didn't think it worked. And what was your approach to low carb now that you tried and didn't have success with, that now you're doing keto that's more successful? What would you say is the primary difference there?
So when I did low carb, they told me to cut out sugar. And so I cut out sugar. And I remember that I was traveling, and there was a marketplace, and somebody was selling fresh granola. This is an absolute perfect example of what I was doing. And I said, I can't have sugar. And he said, me either. I'm diabetic. I said, well, I'm not diabetic, but I can't have sugar. And he said, this has no sugar at all. I took the granola. It was delicious. It was like eating candy. I went back and I said, you sure I got the sugar-free one? He said, absolutely, got the sugar-free one. And, you know, I gobbled it up. I went back, I got more. I brought some with me. And he had all kinds of other sugar-free things, and I was enjoying them. And then I found out that sugar-free meant technically it didn't have sugar. In that case, it had date sugar or agave or one
Oh.
hidden sugar. So they weren't lying. It didn't have sugar, but it was just a bit as bad. And I found out that I had to become an expert in ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And over learning my body, I went to see an endocrinologist. And he said, okay, write down everything that you ate in the past week. And he looked at it and he goes, what you're doing isn't possible. You should not be this weight. I said, but I am. And he said, okay, I want you to cut out diet soda. And I said, why? He said, well, there are some people for whom diet soda doesn't affect them. He said, but there are some people that the body treats the artificial sweeteners as if they were sugar, and it produces an insulin rush. He said, you may be one of those people. I cut out diet soda. I started paying attention to every single ingredient that went into my mouth, and slowly, things made a difference. Just this year, I'm down, not this year, like the 365 calendar, because I wouldn't make this claim, but for the past calendar year, I've in this lost 55 pounds alone.
Oh, that's great. How much have you lost total?
I have lost about 75, and until I really invented my own thing, I would go back and forth. I would drop it, it would keep back. I would drop it, it would come back. The biggest change that came over me is that food no longer has any real control over me. I eat far less. I'll go to a restaurant. I'll have maybe a little piece of steak and, and some broccoli, and I'm full and I have no desire. 9 times out of 10, I don't finish what's on my plate, even if it's keto foods and it's the right foods for me to be eating. I experience, okay, I'm full. I don't need any. And I didn't even know what that concept was before.
So you become more mindful as in the process.
Absolutely. I'm full. I don't need any more. And people look at me and go, how could you be full? They'll eat twice as much as me and I can't eat it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and that's a really cool thing, right? Because you're listening to your body, whereas other people, they probably are more leptin resistant, and so they don't even understand their signals,
I think what made the biggest change was discovering what I call metabolic confusion. I think just about any diet can work for a period of time. Excuse my cough. And then your body gets used to what you're doing, and then you hit a really long plateau. I think there isn't a single weight loss person out there who didn't succeed at first on a particular diet, and then all of a sudden, it, quote, in the language that people like to use, it stopped working. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that people are on a plateau, and nobody wants to be on a plateau. And they try like crazy to get off the plateau, and eventually they give the whole thing up because they can't get off the plateau.
Yep, I totally find that. And so, like with my clients, because I just do one-on-one coaching, those are when we have the fun, right? Because it's all about testing your body to figure out how you can mix up and confuse your metabolism. And so it doesn't get stuck where it's at, Same with workouts. And like we mix them up every month,
So one of the people that I love in the weight loss, keto, intermittent fasting world is Dr. Fung.
Mm.
Um, I love his teaching. I love his style. I love that he doesn't pull any punches. But he said if you have metabolic syndrome, it's going to take you an extremely long time to lose weight, even with intermittent fasting. And he specializes in, or started with water fasting, but then relented to modified fasting. Um, but he said it was going to take a really long time. And I think that the body can get used to anything, including intermittent fasting. So, what I started doing, and eventually I made an entire program out of it, was every week changing what your body was doing, changing the fasts from extended fasting to OMAD, 1 meal a day fasting, um, to changing the times of your meals, and what was going on. And whoa, that made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a funny story. I was traveling out of the country, and I came to the security check, and they made me take off my belt after I started losing weight. And I went, I've just gone down like 4 sizes, and this isn't going to be good. And they said, sorry, you have to take your belt off and put it on the conveyor. And so I am leaning against the machine so that my pants do not fall down. And all of the security people are looking at me and laughing. And I'm going, my pants are going to fall down. This is going to be, we can sell tickets to this. And they were all laughing and going, someone give him his belt to put it back on. I believe him.
Yeah, because they want to have your hands above your head and do that pose.
Yeah, that was not working. I was not going to let go of my pants. It was not going to happen.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, I totally believe in metabolic confusion and to trick things. I've even had clients that, I just say start being mindful and listening. And one of my girls just did a 4-day extended fast, and it wasn't planned because I said just do 24 hours and listen to your body and let your body tell you when it needs refueling. And she extended that out to 4 whole days.
And I find lots and lots of people discover that weight loss is more of a problem in the mind than it is of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And they do not realize that people are capable of far more than they would ever think possible.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally believe that. One of my things I like to say when I teach boot camp and, my different hard classes I teach at the gym are your body can do it. It's your mind that you have to convince.
And when I'm at the gym working out, I would love to believe that for a couple of minutes, but it gets really hard.
Oh my,
and
this
so
one
I
girl.
understand. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No. You were telling me this one girl.
She did a freaking I want to say it was like a 3-hour plank. She just broke the world's record or something, Guinness Book of World Records. And she just did, I want to say it's a 3-hour plank.
You're making me embarrassed of my 2-minute plank. My baby 2-minute plank. And I was so proud. I put on Counting Crows, Mr. Jones, and that's my plank music. And wow, 3 hours, huh?
Actually, wait, no, I just Googled it. It's 4 hours and 19 minutes and 55 seconds. Like,
okay,
how do you do that?
I will do. It's mind. How do you
mind.
turn your mind and do that for 4 hours solid?
How do you do anything like that for 4 hours? That's like running a marathon with your abs. That's just intense.
No,
So
you're giving me a challenge. Guinness, look out! Harlan's on the way.
Oh, that's funny.
I think I'll
So
go. I think I'll go for 4 minutes now.
Well, yeah, you can work your way up. I did a plank challenge for my group, and they worked their way up to like a 5 minute plank, starting with like a 30 second. So it's just that incremental baby steps, like how you boil a frog.
I hear you. I just need to get the straps fastened to the ceiling to hold me up so I can pretend to be doing it for that long.
Go to an aerial yoga studio. That will help.
Yeah, I did that too for a while. I like that. I did TRX yoga.
Hmm. I've never done that. I teach TRX, but I've never done TRX yoga.
Try doing a vinyasa on TRX. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if my shoulder would like that. I'm like you. My shoulders are pretty zapped from bench pressing, really. So right now I'm really into yin yoga. Have you tried that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I went yoga, I used to say, this was a type A personality doing yoga.
Uh,
So I did yoga 2 or 3 times a day. In the morning, I did vinyasa. In the afternoon, I would do ashtanga. And then there was an accelerated ashtanga that was called the Rocket, where they took a bunch of the advanced Ashtanga series and combined them together.
oh, wow. I don't think I'd want to do that.
No, I won't do it again, but been there, done that.
Yeah, I find that most people overtrain, like they think if a little is good, then a lot is better. And I really do, like, I've been working at my current gym for 10 years, and I see that a lot of women, especially because I only coach women, but I see them go into the same classes over and over and over and over, and their body doesn't change.
Hmm.
And so it's usually their chronic cardio. I say they're a bunch of cardio queens. And this one chick that does one of my classes, she does about 5 or 6 hours a day. And that is not an exaggeration.
Wow.
I know. And she's like, I can't lose this belly. I'm like, that's because of all that cortisol. So anyways, well, I'm going down a rabbit trail. So tell me something. So tell me, what is a day in your diet look like? Like, what do you eat?
Okay. Well, the first thing that I do in the morning is I have a cup of coffee with some MCT oil powder in it and a tiny bit of heavy whipped cream. That gets me my keto fats. I perform really well on MCT oil. I notice the difference when I've had it and when I've had not had it. I think more clearly. This is me on MCT oil today. If I wasn't on MCT oil, I'd talk like this. But since I had it today, we can have a great conversation. Sometimes I'll have some eggs in the morning, or maybe eggs and salad. I usually don't do much of a lunch, and dinner is a meat and some veggies. The meat, the meat could be chicken or protein instead of meat. Could be fish. It could be chicken, turkey, and veggies such as broccoli or cauliflower rice or asparagus, grilled asparagus, my old-time favorite, and many, many more. Some eggplant. I discovered a love for veggies.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good, good, good. So why do you have breakfast and dinner, whereas most people who do the time restrictive eating have it more like lunch and dinner so that they're, extending their fast through the day?
So it depends on what my mood is and so forth. My favorite thing are the extended fasts where I just have chicken broth. And the chicken broth is loaded with electrolytes. And over time, I forget food. I typically will do like a 66-hour fast. I will do that once every other week. And I hardly even notice that I'm fasting.
So why 66 hours?
Because the starting at 8 to 8, so I end up like on a 2 p.m. on the after the third day. Just an easy way to help my people calculate what they're doing. Also, they say that the benefits of autophagy start to wear off around that time. So,
Oh, it's 66 hours?
yeah, that's like around the magic number. Like after 72 hours, there really isn't much of a benefit to it.
Oh, okay. So that's like, okay, so 66. I can't do math. So it's less than 3 days.
That is correct. So
Okay.
we break it in the afternoon on the third day.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I think the longest I have ever done is um like 3.5 days. I was going for 4 days and I just mentally got weak.
And that's it. But, there's some benefits to it. Like I traveled overseas recently, and since I can't possibly eat anything on an airline because it's not really food, it's chemicals in a package, um, and it's certainly not going to be remotely keto. So I don't mind not eating. I'll take some sliced peppers and maybe a piece of turkey or two pieces of turkey, wrap it around a pepper, and that's it. And it can be a 12-hour flight. I don't even miss the food.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yep.
has its benefits.
Yep. And I think that's a great time when you're traveling to do longer fasting. Like even OMAD, when I go to New York to see my son, he always wants to go to these really nice restaurants for dinner. And so I just don't eat all day so I can really enjoy a good dinner.
Yeah. And um, OMAD really gets people there, but it's all in the mind. That um, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, who, because they don't realize, Tracy, that this is a mind thing, they think or they believe that OMAD is more difficult than an extended fast, when it's all about the mindset. For them, the idea that, okay, I can't eat now for an extended period of time, that they can live with, but not that I can't eat now, but I can eat tonight.
That's weird.
Everybody is different. And like I said about the fingerprints, you just got to respect their individuality.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is true. I have that keto taste right now because I ate something that I wish I wouldn't have eaten this weekend, and I paid for it yesterday. So I've been fasting all day just to kind of clean out even further. And I've got that, fasting taste in my mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's why I always have sitting next to me a little bit of pep.
A little bit of what? Harlan?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, something happened. That was weird. Hold on, are you
I'm
there?
here. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, you cut out for a second. You have a little bit of what next to you?
Peppermint essential oil.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, love it.
And a drop in the mouth or a drop in a glass of water, and you feel refreshed and energetic, and it it really works. Can I give your listeners a secret?
Yeah, of course.
So a lot of people have difficulties with cravings. And there's a simple craving killer that no matter what the craving is, this worked. We used to use it especially for people who had given up smoking and they had nicotine cravings.
Mm-hmm.
It is ice water with lemon juice in it. And the sports bottles, the ones that squirt out, are the best. You squirt that lemon water with the lemon juice, but it should be real lemon juice, not one of these fake drinks, onto the roof of your mouth, and your craving is gone in milliseconds.
Really? What is it? Why the roof of the mouth? What does that indicate? Like, how does that work?
Because it is so sensitive to taste. And as soon as the craving comes, there are certain senses like the nose and taste that are basically hardwired into the brain, which are the two senses that we use the least. You know, we talk about seeing, hearing, touching, but people don't talk about taste or smell as often. But those go directly hardwired to the brain. And once the lemon is there, that sensation just kills the craving.
Ah, interesting. I'm going to have to try that.
Cold
Okay.
water, secret recipe, cold water and plenty of lemon juice. In other words, if unless you actually sense that it's lemon there, it's not going to do the trick. So you've got to, each person has to judge for themselves what the right amount is.
Well, how? Oh. So it just depends. Okay, because I have a Meyer lemon tree, and I make this thing called Keto Light. That we use like a quarter cup of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, a teaspoon of pink salt, a teaspoon of light salt, a tablespoon of magnesium calm, and a couple droppers of stevia, and it makes like a 2-quart pitcher.
Works great, except the only thing that I would change is the calm, because that is magnesium citrate, and I would use magnesium glycinate because the magnesium citrate makes people go to the bathroom.
Well, and I warn them about that, but some of them need to go to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
many women are chronically constipated, and so I do always warn them. I said, some of you may have, some loose bowels with this, and some of you might need it. So yeah, no, I always tell them about that. And actually, I think that calm is carbonate, which is like the same as that citrated magnesia. I don't know if you're old enough, but when you have a colonoscopy.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, yes. Every 5 years I get to have the fun. The really interesting thing was after my colonoscopy, which was not such a long time ago, before the colonoscopy, my doctor, who this was the one who told me that nothing was going to work and metabolic syndrome, I would never lose weight. He came in and he said, "Now we're going to see if you're cheating. Now we're going to see if you're cheating." And I said, I don't cheat." He goes, "No, we're going to see if you're cheating." And I said, "Well, you're going to be really disappointed because I don't cheat." "Okay, we'll see." Well, he did the colonoscopy and came in and he goes, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" I said, "What? You don't cheat." I said, I told you that." He didn't believe me.
But how could he tell?
I imagine inflammation in the stomach and the.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, none of that has even came out, or we haven't even talked about any of that, but that's interesting. As you get older, there's all these different things that they want you to do. So, have you ever done anything like the Viome test or any food sensitivity stuff or?
Done all of those.
Okay.
Done all of those. And, there were things, I actually have pages and pages here of my food sensitivities. And I thought that nuts were my friend, but they're not.
Which ones came back bad?
Almonds in particular.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And so, yes, very big believer in food sensitivity testing. And they use the results to mix up some powders that supposedly will help. I wish I could tell you more about it, but that's what I take on a fairly regular basis.
Do you do eggs?
Eggs are not a problem for me.
Oh, you're lucky. That's really good. I can't do eggs and I have chickens.
Oh, wow.
I know.
You got chickens and limes, and lemons, so that's pretty good.
Oh, well, I live on 5 acres in California. I have like a small little farm. It's a certified organic farm, and yeah, so we have all kinds of fun stuff out here.
It sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Sounds and fun and fun. But then now you have all those. Well, can you have chickens, or you don't eat because they're friends? You don't.
Oh, I don't cook my chickens. No.
Okay, so what do you do with all the eggs?
Well, I have 3 boys, so they eat them. I give them to friends. My husband, he eats a couple every day. So, yeah, there's lots of stuff to do. Everybody wants them, so it's not hard to get rid of them. But I'm hoping to. I just did a biome test. I'm waiting for the results, but I'm really hoping that eggs come back, that they're okay.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah, because I've been really working on healing my gut with fermented foods and probiotics and prebiotics and all that. So,
absolutely. A day doesn't go by that I don't do that. That's the first thing that I take in the morning. Every morning on my probiotics.
So what recommendations, or what would you tell, like what advice would you give somebody who's just starting out on keto?
So the first thing that I would tell someone who's starting out is that, first of all, number one, it really works. Be patient with yourself. This isn't weight loss is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Keto is going to work far in excess if it fits your lifestyle. If you're serious, it could be a fit for you. It may not be a fit for everyone, but only you as an individual can determine if it's a fit for you. Mm-hmm. And if it is a fit for you, then the more seriously you take it and the more patient you are with yourself and respect your own uniqueness and your own body, you can see amazing results. I mean, now I have a program where people go through, and some people do get results in a month that stuns me. Sometimes I even have to shake my head and go, did that really happen? Like when a person comes to me and loses 57 pounds in a month, I was like, seriously? How was that even possible? So much so that my wife actually called the woman, with her permission, called the woman's doctor. And with the woman on the phone, they said, yes, they weighed her and she lost 57 pounds. And then there's some people who get upset. They hear that and they go, well, I lost 2 pounds in a month. And they get upset because they don't respect their own uniqueness. Yeah. And it will come. And we were just not all made the same. Mm-hmm. So if they stick with it, one day, especially if they measure themselves and put the scale away and use a tape measure as a far more accurate indicator of what's going on in their body, I believe that they will be not only impressed, but stunned and delighted.
Yeah. Yeah, like definitely not to look in the mirror, or what is it? Look in the mirror. That's your only competition, because everybody's body is going through their own journey.
And, Tracy, if I could get more people to listen to that and believe that, that would be great. Now, I'm sitting in my office right now, and I'm looking to my right, and I'm going to talk about a pet peeve that will probably be helpful to people. I'm looking at a package that says keto cookie on it. Okay. It says keto cookie on it, but when I look at the ingredients, it's loaded with sugar. Now, it can't be, but so one of the things that I want to caution people is that you have to become familiar with what ingredients are. And just because someone has decided to make a buck and put keto on the label does not truly make it keto. You need to take responsibility for learning about it. And you know, all of the products that have keto, that have sugar or grains or fake sugars, um, that's really my gets my blood boiling, because there are people who come in and just don't know this. I had a woman come over last night. It was a woman I knew from many, many years ago, and now she's doing keto, not for weight loss, but for cancer. And she's in, I'm guessing, her 70s, and maybe close to 80. And she's fighting cancer, and she's buying these products that are labeled keto. And unfortunately, many of them are not. And she was like, oh, that's why I started not feeling well. Oh, I had no idea that this wasn't really keto. And, they're taking advantage of people who are sincere.
Oh, yeah.
And when someone is life or death like that with this, their life is on the line, and these people are basically lying to them. And that gets me going. See, I told you it burns me up, and I look and I see these products. I have a stack of these things that people are sending me their products to review, and I look at them and go, this has like 4 different kinds of wheat and other grains in it. It's not keto.
That's so awful. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm really a whole foodist, living on an organic farm and all that. And I mean, it's like eat less wrappers and boxes and more leaves and peels,
Yes, absolutely. That's what we do. We're big believers in that ourselves. And I think that ultimately, the more people do that, the more they're going to start experiencing success, and not the failures that unfortunately they've become accustomed to.
Yeah, and they're just like, I agree with you with all these products just jumping on the bandwagon, which to me makes it really sad. It just creates more confusion. And all these ingredients that you can't pronounce and things like that. So I have another question. I heard, did you write a book or 2 books, or how many books have you written?
Over 2 books? Oh God, how many books are we up to now? The first book I wrote was a recipe book, where I'm of the belief that when you do keto, the food should taste as good as non-keto food. So I got my start keto-fying recipes, and I would start making things like were hard to find for keto, like barbecue sauce and barbecue rubs and roasts. And I think if you Google the phrase perfect keto cheesecake, you'll come up with my recipe. I think it's been downloaded or accessed on Facebook something like 40 or 50,000 times. I grew up, and my favorite cookie was a ginger snap, so I made keto ginger snaps. More than 70,000 people became fans of those. But that was just recipes. It wasn't really a weight loss program. And then I came out with a program called Speed Keto. And Speed Keto, we've had over 70,000 people go through the program with 70,000 with incredible success. But that had intermittent fasting in it. And a lot of people say can't fast because they're either type 1 diabetics, or they're nursing, or for whatever reason they can't fast, blood sugar issues. So I wrote a book called Eating Speed Keto, and followed subsequently by Completely Keto Goes Mexican. Tomorrow, Completely Keto Soups comes out. We did Completely Keto Goes Kosher.
Where do you find these?
Where do I find these?
I mean, where can we find them? Are they on Amazon?
Speedketo.shop.
Speedketo.shop. Okay, cool.
And what happened was, we put them on Amazon, and we discovered that when you put a product on Amazon, anybody can leave any review, whether they've purchased it or not. And people would give like a 1-star review and say he doesn't include, the recipes. None of them are original. And I'm like, these photos were all taken in my kitchen. That's my counter you see in the picture. But you could say anything you want, and I got tired of seeing those things. I took the books off Amazon. Now, if you search for them on Amazon, sometimes they've sold for as much as $2,000 a copy. Not that I can imagine anyone doing it. So we put them up on our own website and we sell them.
Got it.
We have so many Facebook groups to help people that just truly, I find that people, and I'm sure you do, that people need support. They need someone to talk to. They need to talk out the issues that they have. When people have stress, someone passes away in their family, and the behavior that they've learned over the years is to turn to comfort food. I mean, it's part of every culture. Someone dies, what do? You bring them food. You bring them a tray of food. You bring them cookies. You bring them a casserole. And so we try and teach people the answer is not food.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. I ended up getting my life coaching qualification, or whatever you call it, because I realized after coaching women, it wasn't about the food. It was about everything else that was going on that was driving them to use food to comfort themselves.
Exactly. I started a keto coaching certification program, and I said, it's not going to be teaching people how to keep keto. You already know that. This is about teaching them how to get to the real issues that are driving the weight issue.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you gave me this website. I'll have to check it out. So listen, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today, Harlan. It has been a pleasure talking with you, and I'm really excited to follow your recipes.
It has been like talking to myself. I meet someone who is, understands these concepts of metabolic confusion and intermittent fasting and gets results for their people. That's fantastic. It's such an honor.
Aw, well, thank you. It's been awesome. Okay, that was awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Please head on over to iTunes and give us a rating and review. And a little secret for you. As I was perusing his website, I found some amazing recipes, including the cheesecake he spoke about and an awesome carrot cake. So head on over to CompletelyKeto.com so you can find his cookbooks, and all his links will be on the show notes page at highenergygirl.com/show. Thank you for listening. And if you have any wonderful friends that you think would be awesome guests on the show, please send them over my way at tracy@highenergygirl.com. Make it a great day, you guys.